It is, of course, our duty, therefore, to consolidate the strengths and provisions that the government has been giving by making sure we take our academic work seriously.
The newly appointed chairperson of the Welfare Club on behalf of the executive body promised to work as expected. Samuel Ba, GRTS.
Intended travelers from the Republic of the Gambia to the Kingdom of Sweden can now sort out all matters relating to the Swedish visa, including interviews at the Spanish embassy in Dakar, Senegal. A press release from the Minister of Foreign Affairs informs the general public that this development comes after a visit to the embassy of the Kingdom of Sweden in Abuja by Her Excellency Angela B. Colley, the Gambian High Commissioner to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, during which she and her Swedish counterpart discussed issues bordering on the application of Swedish visas. Opponents of the Mauritanian leader, who is in France for treatment, say their president Mohamed Ould Abdel Aziz is not fit to rule the country. And hundreds of people took to the streets of Gaza to celebrate the truce with Israel, but the Prime Minister of the Jewish state has warned of tougher actions should Hamas fail to honor the accord. We'll be back with these stories and others after this break. Welcome back. Opponents of the Mauritanian leader, who is in France for treatment, say the absentee president is not fit to rule the country, describing him as a man still suffering. They say Mohamed Ould Abdel Aziz is physically incapacitated. But as we hear in this report, those in support of President Aziz have been out too, showing their backing for the man who is set to return at the weekend ahead of the country's Independence Day celebration on Wednesday.
In the center of the Mauritanian capital Nouakchott against the power vacuum in the country following President Mohamed Ould Abdel Aziz's absence. The head of state has been in hospital in Paris since October after receiving a gunshot wound. On Tuesday, Aziz made an appearance meeting President François Hollande in the French capital. Discussions at the Élysée Palace centered on the situation in Mali.
What I am saying loud and clear is that the man is still suffering. And what you see here is just a sham.
The opponents in Nouakchott are following Aziz's every movement when he appears on TV. They believe he has been permanently weakened and will never be fit enough to lead the country. They're calling for a change of leadership.
Already the President of the Republic had shown he was not equal to the political task of running the country. Now we note he is physically incapacitated. The pictures on TV were supposed to show he can carry on running the country.
People favorable to the absent president also made their presence felt. His supporters staged a motorcade to show they back him. It's been announced Aziz will return at the weekend in time for the country's Independence Day next Wednesday.
Hundreds of people took to the streets of Gaza to celebrate the truce with Israel. The ceasefire, which was brokered by President Mohamed Morsi of Egypt, came in the wake of a week of fighting that left more than 150 Palestinians and 5 Israelis dead. The development also came as a huge relief to the international community, but Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel has warned of tougher military actions should Hamas fail to fulfill their own side of the bargain.
There were scenes of joy in Gaza when the ceasefire with Israel was announced. Hundreds of people gathered in the streets, many shooting off their automatic weapons as if they had won a great victory. This is indeed a fragile ceasefire. Then on the Israeli side, Prime Minister Netanyahu promised a tougher military response if the Hamas does not keep its promises. I know there are some citizens who want a tougher military response, and perhaps we should need to do so. But at this time, The right thing for the State of Israel is to use this opportunity to achieve a long-lasting ceasefire. In spite of the tough words, there is relief on the international level. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon praised the accord.
I warmly welcome today's ceasefire announcement. I commend the parties for stepping back from the brink, and I commend the President Morsi of Egypt for his exceptional leadership.
On the ground, there was quiet. The local press in Gaza is calling this a victory. Many people there are used to the death and destruction. What happened was metal and fire on the heads of Netanyahu, Barak, and Lieberman, a lesson that will never be forgotten by the unfair Israeli occupation. On the Israeli side of the border, there were few illusions about a solution. I don't know. Judging by the history of agreements with the Arabs, it seems a bit pessimistic. I think that rockets will return. It's only a question of time. Some Israeli soldiers are still positioned at the Gaza border, while in the West Bank, Israeli soldiers and Shin Bet security forces were making arrests. The week of violence left at least 155 Palestinians and 5 Israelis dead.
From that report on the Israeli-Gaza truce, we now shift our attention to the weather report courtesy of the Central Forecast Office.
The source assures us of a continuous flow, and from there, everything follows. And for those of us who know what the River Gambia stands for, understanding its sustainability in all aspects of life is easily confirmed. The River Gambia provides nutritious delicacies as food, while it provides its wildlife a balanced ecosystem. This river, as a sanctuary, is committed to its inhabitants' needs without season. And as you travel along, all these values are replicated in one company, Elton. Just like the River Gambia, leads in its commitment to values that matter most. Elton, championing the vision for a new generation.
Well, we apologize for that, and before we end this edition of the news, a reminder of our headlines. Permanent secretaries from the various ministries have wrapped up another retreat in Kanilai, where the effective functioning of their respective ministries and the attainment of the Vision 2020 dominated deliberations. 226 Gambian deportees from Libya Wednesday morning returned home under the assistance of the International Organization for Migration and the Gambia government. Opponents of the Mauritanian leader have said Mohamed Ould Abdel Aziz is not fit to rule the country, but those backing the absentee head of state staged a spectacular show of motorcade ahead of his return to Nouakchott. And peace, at least for now, Israel and Hamas have agreed to a ceasefire, ending what is believed to be the worst cross-border fighting in 4 years. That brings us to the end of this edition of the news. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of our program, and we wish all our viewers and the Muslim Ummah a blessed Yomul Ashura.
It's a way to connect with your friends and family easily with QCells. SMS chat, a meeting place. It's where we're at. Banter. You can create your own private room, or you could join one of our public ones like Banter News, music and sports. Just send join to 555 and start chatting via SMS to keep up with what's going on. Not only is Banter chat fun, but each message costs only 5 batoots. Yes, 5 batoots. For more info, call 111 or visit our website at www.qcell.gm. QCell, it's the new boss. Banter, it's a way to connect with your friends and family easily with QCells. SMS chat, a meeting place. It's where we're at. Banter, you can create your own. QCell, the Gambia's only 3G plus network.